Today, I'm going to replace the alternator. It's really easy to know if you have a bad alternator. If the red battery light on your dash comes on, you probably have a bad alternator. It's a fairly simple process too. On the 328, the E36, you have to take out this air filter, and once you do that, the alternator is right underneath. To do this, you start by removing the power steering, or not the power steering, the cruise control. And it looks like that takes 10mm socket right here. And I'm going to be doing this quickly because I have to get back to work in a few hours. And it's not really a job you want to put off too long, because if you go too long, your battery dies and you're stranded until you can either charge your battery or charge your battery and replace your alternator. Okay, once that's off, just turn it out of the way, spin the little rubber things here, like so. That's good. There are two clips right here. Take those out. And the whole thing just slips out. Set that to the side. And you can now get access to the alternator. This right here is the cooler for the alternator. So to remove this, take a screwdriver, take that clamp, and that whole thing pops off. There's the alternator right there. And I'm going to start by removing the belt. To do that, I'm going to use a 16mm socket, and right behind the alternator thing there's a pulley. And you'll put that socket right on there, like that. You'll see it's just a pulley that kind of moves. You put it there, and with your socket tightening, you push down, and that releases the pressure on the belt. I can now remove the belt. Now that that's there, there are two bolts that remove the alternator. One is right here. One is on the bottom side, and it's impossible to see, but it's right underneath there. These take a 16mm socket too. So I'll start with the top one. It's easy. Loosen that one, and then before I get too carried away, I'm going to loosen the bottom one too. And like I said, you can kind of feel it underneath there. It's difficult to see. I'm going to use an extension. Yeah, that'll allow me to get around. Kind of crowded in there because you have pulleys and things in the way. There we go. Okay, there's the first bolt, the bottom bolt, and now for the top bolt. Okay, there's the top bolt. Now that you have both bolts off, pull it off and move it forward on the back of the alternator. You will see a red and black wire that connects to the battery, and actually that's what charges the battery. Disconnect those. Might not be a bad idea to disconnect the battery first, just for the hell of it. Disconnect those. I'll pull this out, and I'll put the new one in. When you disconnect the battery, you should be disconnecting the black negative wire from the battery. And of course on the E36, the battery is in the trunk on the passenger side, which is really quite ingenious. It's just to balance the weight out more. You have the heavy engine in the front, why not put the heavy battery in the back? So take these off. The red one, you want to use a 13mm socket. The black one is slightly smaller. It requires a 10mm socket. Okay. So you unscrew the bolts holding the wires, or the nuts rather, unscrewing the wires, and then the wires will just lift out. There we go. That's the old alternator. Installing the new alternator is just the opposite. You're going to want to hook up the black and red leads first, just like that. Putting on the nuts. Put the water seal over that, rubber gasket. There we go. Just put it back on. Couple special notes here. You'll notice that this alternator has the pulley on it already. Most of the time you'll buy a new alternator and it won't come with the pulley. They'll expect you to take the pulley off the old alternator and put it on this new one, and that requires a special tool. So when you're at the parts place buying this, either ask them to change it out for you. A lot of the cooler places will do that for you. The big chains probably will tell you to go screw yourself. So from them you can usually rent the tool and just do it yourself. So just ask them if they have that tool. Suppose you could also just take it somewhere and have them swap it out. I don't imagine anyone would charge you more than like $5 to do something like that. So, the job didn't take me too long. I now just need to put the belt back on. When you're doing that, make sure that it goes around all the wheels it's supposed to, so when you're taking it off you might want to just remember which pulleys it threads around and how. I would get it around all the pulleys except the alternator. So that's the way it is now. Does require a little bit of a little bit of finesse to get right. So you want to make sure that it's correctly in all those grooves. Press down like that, and then put it around the alternator after you've installed it around all the other belts. So that's that. If it's been a while since you've replaced the belt, this might be a good time to do that too. But yeah, it's done. Now I just have to put this back on there like that. When you're doing this too, it's a good idea to just check that nothing's clogging this tube up. You want your new alternator to get cooled right. You don't want to be replacing it soon. Okay. There. Then put the air filter back in. Go like that. Those just snap on there like that. Tightening up these things here. Like that. Going here, there, and I'm done with the project. I haven't looked at the time, but it feels like that didn't take any more than about a half hour. So it's really pretty awesome. There's no reason not to do this yourself, really, as long as you have the patience and the dedication. It's like anything in life, really. You can do it as long as you're willing to settle in and do the work to figure it out. It's not hard.